Welcome back to the channel, guys. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Today we're actually going to talk about plate carriers, but a little bit more specifically, we're going to talk about matching your outfits, matching your plate carriers. I think a lot of dudes get really hung up on the concept, a couple concepts, but a concept of running as a team. You have to have the same color gear. You have to have everything set up identically. You have to have the same everything. And realistically, you don't need those things unless you got like some agency rule or team rule or something where you have to run issued equipment. Maybe you're in the guard or you're on a task force or something like that where they give you the gear, you use it, no questions asked. You really can do what you want. There's some advantages to running your gear similarly. And as you guys can tell, we look the same. We do run some of our gear the same. We're gonna get into it today. Before we dive into all that, I'm gonna introduce you. So this is Trevor, this is my brother. You run the T-Rod Whiskey YouTube page. Also happens to train on the regular with us with a lot of the stuff that we're doing here. He has a very similar carrier setup to what I do. So we're gonna look at kind of all around how it's set up, some similarities, some things that we wanted to do the same, and some things that we specifically went out of our way not to do the same. So with that, let's just jump onto this week's discussion. Okay, so when we talk about how we set up carriers, right, similar things can aid themselves. Sometimes people go a little bit too far. They buy all the same kit as their buddy or their favorite influencer, and it really doesn't make a tremendous amount of sense at all. So you guys can see here, we're both running the Faro Concepts FCPC. There are some similar aesthetics here up front. There's also some differences. So why don't you go ahead and talk through just high level the front of your carrier and how you have yours put together.
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, I kind of followed the blueprint that you built, right? So Faro Concepts FCPC, this is the V5. I did use a sled placard, set up very similar the way yours is. I chose to go with a dangler. I know not everybody loves having a dangler. I like having all of my admin down here. You added the little pocket up top. Yep. I had one on my HRT carrier and I never found myself using it. It ended up just being more of an annoyance and a hindrance. The little zipper handles would tickle me and such, and I'm not great with being tickled, so got rid of that. But the push to talk, exact same location.
We made these, by the way. You guys, if you are not an idiot and you have some ingenuity and some Kydex, you can make your own comm sled. You don't have to buy one, or do. It's all good, whichever way you go.
Yeah, no, it's great. This I think came with my Ear Pro. Took like 2 seconds to run. I just have a simple Baofeng with a stubby antenna. I'm not Hollywood enough yet. I don't have a wearable antenna, but it is on the list. Yeah. We've got the Tigris side straps, just 3 mags up front. I know everybody likes to talk about how, hey, you got to have 7 mags. Yeah, if you're in an active combat situation, maybe that's accurate for you. I don't carry quite that many. Do have the multi-tool, just like Austin does. I got the Theorem cell vault up here, just like Austin does, because again, lights, lasers, nods, they all run off of basically the CR123 batteries, so got that all front and center. I got the IR flag patch, just so everybody can see that I am American. That's, in a nutshell, that's really all it is. And
the nice thing about these carriers is, you mentioned 7 magazines. Like I run 4, I think you run 3 on yours.
Yeah.
3. These rigs are beefy enough. You can add more magazines if you needed to. If you needed to swap out placards, the nice thing is the Faro ecosystem plays well with the Cosm buckles, or we run G hooks on this because it's just slimmer.
So much easier.
Yeah. You could swap out if you needed to. You could add additional pouches if you needed to. I think the 3 across the front is kind of the standard that you see for a lot of folks. Even in law enforcement, they take it back, right? They go, 1 magazine, 2 magazines, and they utilize this space a little bit differently. So you can do a lot of different stuff with it. We followed a similar form factor and aesthetic. Our radios are both on our right-hand side here. So I have a Baofeng, but this is a GMRS radio. It's a UV5R. It just kind of depends what your team's running or what your group is running. If you're not like working in a team, you probably don't need to run a radio unless you're just scanning for funsies. But setting this up in a similar fashion, some of the benefits to it is if you're trying to help each other train, if you're trying to help each other overcome issues with reloads off of the placards and things like that. If somebody's doing it well and somebody's not, they can help each other. They can share that information. They can share that knowledge. Also, if you need to get extras of something, you know where it's going to be located on your buddy's kit. So, again, you don't have to do this. You don't have to, like, we both run Ranger Green. I think it looks really professional.
So dope. Looks really good.
I think it
just
good.
looks clean, crisp, put together.
Yeah.
You know, we're not running around with black multicam anymore. Oh, Blake.
I think that's fine. If you want to, like, do what makes you happy, right?
Does Blake watch these?
I hope so.
I don't want him to.
I don't know. You don't have to match camo colors. What I will say about that is, if you're training with a group that takes it seriously, pick your gear colors and camouflage patterns based off of the environment that you're in. So if you're in the Southwest or something, then, maybe Coyote Tans, Multicam Arid is gonna work out better for you. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, I know those guys really like M81, God's Plaid. I hate M81. Here in Michigan, we see a lot of Ranger Green and we see a lot of Multicam. We do see some M81.
I wouldn't say a ton, but some, yeah.
Yeah, we see some. We don't really, you could do black, maybe that's an agency thing or a team thing, but uniformity is cool. It is not, to be clear, it is not necessary. Setting your stuff up the exact same is not always necessary. There are key items that make this more advantageous. If you were all for, say, hey, we have our tourniquets located on our abdomen underneath our mag placard or whatever, and everybody was to do that, that's going to be helpful in certain situations. If you're not mounting your med there and you're putting it on your belt line or something like many of us do, that's a little bit different. As long as you know where it is person to person, that's what matters. Now, when we think about plate carriers and setting it up as a team, right, I like to think about it like it's kind of like a mullet.
You doing stunt work for Billy Ray Cyrus? Freddie.
You got the business up front here. Is how you get down to business, right? You got rounds, you got communication, all those things, but the party's in the back. So when we talk about the gear that's going to help your party, help your team, right? That's on the back panel. So we're going to talk about some of the back panel stuff real quick. So on our back panels here, you can see that there's just two that Faro makes. Realistically, you can not run a back panel if you don't want to. A lot of guys are really into the idea of running a slick carrier that doesn't allow for zippers and stuff like this. They'd rather just throw on a backpack, and that's super cool for you, man. I'm balls deep in the idea of you using your 7-year-old's Dora the Explorer backpack because you think that back panels are gay. If you train in a team, it's really advantageous. And, the pushback you get is, well, you can't reach any of this stuff, or you can't reach over your shoulder. Like, yeah, no shit. It's there for people around me to help me. Just like you can see here, we both have these little Darcy straps, drag handles. That's for a friend to help me, because if I'm down and I need to be pulled to safety, they're going to do it for me. So
we're big dudes. Could you imagine some of the guys in our training team having to pull us bent over to 90 degree, just grabbing that drag handle, as opposed to having the whole strap?
Oh, the legacy drag handles where it's just stitched in?
Yeah,
no,
there's a bad time for everybody.
We're
all dying if that happens.
Yeah, there's not a lot of standoff with some of those, and it also usually just pulls the whole carrier up and chokes the shit out of you. But we picked different back panels, obviously, for different roles and functions. The absolute first thing I'm going to say about back panels is just because you have, you got the GP pouches here, and you got a bunch of space. These things are actually pretty generous with, how much.
There's actually a pouch within a pouch on one of these. That's how much room there is in here.
If we, fill this out, you can really fill
you can
all
really
of that
open
out.
this thing up. There's so much unused space in here that you just don't see, and then there's a zipper down in here to open up an additional internal, that will open up, and then you can. And it's not a small pocket either. It's a decent sized pocket that you could put more things in there if you really wanted to load that bad boy out.
The point, though, guys, is just because you have all of this does not mean you have to use all of this. You don't have to load this thing to the gills with, as much med or as much whatever as you can get your hands on. It's really just what you need for your skill set, your mission set. So let's talk about a couple of things that you can put on a back panel. Starting on my side, you guys can see here, this is the banger panel from Faro. I don't run real bangs because I'm not cool. These are the tag-in, the Pro bangs. They're airsoft grade. They're about the same decibel level as a 5.56 round, so they still got a nice little pop to them. And actually, I first found these when Adam from Spiritus Systems was talking about his get home bag. Went out and bought some. These are, I don't know if they still are. They were really hard to get for a while. Like when COVID hit and we had the whole like trade embargo or whatever with Ukraine and stuff, these got really, really hard to find. So you can resize these pockets from Faro to fit different things. So if you're buying some of the IWI stuff, they'll fit in there. But flashbangs, if you have an assaulter panel like this, flashbangs and smokes are pretty much it for us as civilians. If you have access to better stuff, then I guess I'm just really jealous.
Meaning frags.
I don't know if it's, no, I wouldn't know. Well, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. 9 bangers or something cooler than just airsoft bangs. Another thing that you see guys mounting to the back of the carrier a lot is stuff like this. So this is obviously a very small tool. This is the breach and rescue bar from Good Dude Concepts. Shout out to Chris for sending me this bar. I don't have this mounted on the back of my carrier. I just wanted to talk about it because in team situations for law enforcement, for military, obviously breaching tools, they end up on the back. So if you have something like this and you want to mount it on the back, cool. If you don't know how to do breaching stuff, don't, because it's just weight strapped to your back that's going to ruin your day. And additionally, I don't do this either, but you can get some of these 20 rounders here, like these Magpul 20 round magazines. Spare ammo is never a bad idea. Or if you guys have some kind of like, I don't know, belt fed, if you're cooler than I am, some kind of belt fed system for one of your dudes, you can run some extra ammo that way. That's a pretty cool idea. I'll have the 3 bangs up here if I'm actually using stuff like that. And then down here in the bottom, this is like a very abbreviated version of like these really nice, really large pockets that I'm jealous of. What I just keep in mind is for my teammates. So I have some spare 123 batteries in here, and then a spare Baofeng battery. And I keep it in a Ziploc because this stuff is really, really well made, but I don't know that it's entirely waterproof. And because I run a cheap radio and have had issues in the past with stuff getting wet and then not wanting to work for me, I now put it in a sandwich baggie to keep it dry. And then I will just have additionally some chem lights in here if we are doing stuff out on the range, or if we are training structure clearance work with our night vision. From time to time we will use chem lights, and that's something, if you have them on your back, a buddy can reach out if they need extra or something like that. I do keep some on my belt line as well. What are you running in yours?
So yeah, it's a lot of admin stuff. It's also a lot of medical stuff. So this is just, I do run a med kit and IFAC on my belt, but it's just some excess medical stuff. Got lots of gauze.
Just lots and lots of gauze.
I got some gloves.
Here's the thing, guys. If it seems like a dumb thing to have a ton of gauze on there, you're gonna need like whatever.
Absolutely gonna use it.
Yeah, what you think you will need for gauze, if you have never been through any kind of training with it, in the picture of your mind, triple whatever that amount is, and that's probably what you're gonna need. I know guys that wear, like back on like the kidney section back here, right, of their plate carrier, will just have an entire blowout kit full of gauze because, I mean, you will go through that stuff.
If you guys don't think that's accurate, take a Stop the Bleed course. It will be very eye-opening just how much gauze a singular wound will eat. It's significantly more than you might think. But then the lower admin pouch, and I just got done building this, so not everything is really moved over, but I've got a handful of glow sticks, some 550 cord in case I need to tie anything off. I want to make a buzzsaw for signaling or anything like that. Just some admin cord, nothing crazy there. Normally there's some electrical tape and a couple other things in here, but haven't had a chance to move everything over to the new carrier yet. Electrical tape can be hugely useful at the range. That's kind of what I keep in mind for right now.
Again, you don't need to fill it, guys. You don't need all of that. If you don't need all of those things, then don't put all those things in there. If you're not using electrical tape on the regular and you see your favorite YouTuber run it on their kit, don't do it. All right, or leave it in your range bag. It's not that big a deal. If you are on the range, you can just go back to your bag and get some, and then tape up your little hand when you hit the slide release too hard or something. So yeah, I mean, back panels are for working in teams. If you work in a team, then run a back panel. If you don't, then don't. Some guys get really, really emotionally attached to that kind of thing, and not running a plate carrier that, will work with these kinds of solutions. I think it's really silly to get upset about it. Some guys have some really emotional attachments to it.
Well, and one of the reasons why I have an admin panel and you have an assaulter panel, there's already another guy in our team or our group that we like to train with. He's got an assaulter panel. The other part of it is, we've all been working together for about a year now, a little bit over a year, and I think we've actually incorporated bangs into our training maybe one time. So if it's something we're not using a ton of, doesn't make a whole lot of sense for all of us to be running around with flash bangs or smoke grenades or whatever type of things you might keep in there. It makes a heck of a lot more sense to have at least somebody walking around with some admin.
Whatever you guys need for your team, put it in there. Whatever you don't. Just understand that if it's something that's in the back panel, it's not something for you. It's for the team. It's for somebody to possibly assist you, but you're not going to be accessing it. So it's important that everybody knows what's there. I'm not saying, if you look, you can add like identifier patches and stuff on some of these. It's cool to have IR identifiers. If everyone knows what's there, it's fine. For instance, the med's here, so everybody should know that this is the med in the top pocket and the bottom one is the other stuff. If you guys don't know that, it doesn't help you. So that needs to be trained around, it needs to be understood, and it needs to be basically swapped out. So when stuff expires, it needs to be replaced. That's something you stay on top of that as a team effort. So whether that's one person that runs it or multiple people, or you have an SOP, the entire team is going to run a back panel that has med, then it needs to be in the top position or bottom position or whatever works for you guys. Just make sure you know that in advance. So whatever works for your team is what the right answer is here. Don't let people that just don't like this stuff out of weird Reddit hate, don't let them tell you what the right answer is. So at the end of the day, the level of importance behind looking the same, as cool as this is,
twins, Basil, twins,
really doesn't matter as much as people want you to believe. So if you work in a team, that's awesome. If you don't, that's still awesome. Go out there and find a crew of like-minded dudes and then go train together. So whether that's getting together out in the woods to work on some small unit tactics, we get together at a local laser tag facility and we work on structure clearance as a team. And guess what? Half the guys that run with us, they run multicam kit. It's totally fine. I think it's the wrong choice personally. Emotionally, deep inside me, I don't like it, but it's okay. I don't.
It's really sad.
Yeah. But it's okay. It's my second favorite camo. Look, it doesn't matter. That's the whole point. No.
Oh.
Multicam is my second favorite. Rhodesian's weird. Those guys are weird. They run FALs and hats with pins in the sides. Yeah. At any rate, so this stuff, if you're doing it, just make sure anything, it's like everything that we talk about in the training space, you guys, make sure it has a purpose, make sure it has a reason. You will be relatively hard pressed to find somebody that gives you a hard time for your choices, as long as you can intelligently articulate why you do something, just like certain tactics, just like certain optic setups in your rifle, tall, short, in between, whatever. If you can articulate why, people may still disagree with you, but the ones that matter will understand and they'll be fine with that. Yes, you're always going to get the mouth breathers in the comment section that disagree, but that's how we do this, right? For the comment section. Yeah. So thank you guys for checking this out. Whether you just stopped in to see two dudes that look a hell of a lot alike with kit that looks a hell of a lot alike, or you actually had questions on back panels and things, and do you have to take my word for it or our word for it, right? No. Go try this out on your own, go train with your own team. If you find a better way of doing things, then do it, man. But this is how we have our gear set up. This is how we use it. Hopefully this was helpful. Thank you guys so much for stopping by the channel. Make sure you head on over to the T-Rod Whiskey channel, check out what he's going on if you guys enjoy that kind of deal. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, dropping content on the regular. I think that's it. Is that it? Yeah, I think it's it. All right. Yeah. Bye. No shitty one-liners.
No promises.